So back in 2016, Alton Sterling was murdered by the Baton Rouge Police Department. Most of us have saw that video. If you have not seen that video, you can search that out on this channel and check that out. Now, after 2 years, they finally come out and speak about if the two cops were going to be charged in this case. And as always, we all know what to expect as black people in these situations, but let's roll that clip.
Throughout the encounter, the officers attempted several non-lethal techniques to gain compliance and control of Mr. Sterling's hands. Their efforts to do so were a direct result of the information relayed to them by the Baton Rouge Police Department dispatcher. That was that Mr. Sterling was armed with a firearm. Therefore, their attempt to gain control of Mr. Sterling's hands were well-founded and reasonable under the circumstances and under Louisiana law. Furthermore, the officers concerned that he was armed and dangerous was in fact subsequently verified and correct. The seminal question presented is whether Officers Howie Lake and Blaine Salamone can be held criminally responsible for the death of Alton Sterling under applicable laws of the state of Louisiana. Our job was not to determine whether the Baton Rouge Police Department's policy was followed or if certain tactics or language was more appropriate than others. After a thorough and exhaustive review of the evidence, the facts that can be established beyond a reasonable doubt, the law and jurisprudence of the state of Louisiana, and the obligations of prosecutors under the Code of Professional Conduct, the Louisiana Department of Justice cannot proceed with a prosecution of either Officer Lake or Officer Salamone. This decision was not taken lightly.
There are many people that watch this channel from different countries throughout the world, and many of them question me, and also I see many of you in the comment section, and you say, what kind of life is that to live that you guys are living in America? That you constantly keep saying that I am not surprised when black people are murdered by police officers, or another word, lynched by police officers. How could you guys keep constantly dealing with this? People ask that question all the time. People in other countries feel that America is very good at hiding and trying to promote itself as a place of human rights. But yet, when they look at the real stories, America violates human rights every single day. They do. And what I feel a lot of black people need to start doing is what Malcolm X has stated, is that we need to start taking all these issues and speaking before the UN, not because we expect the UN to do anything. But one thing I know about white supremacy, they don't like to be put on Front Street, and they don't like to be embarrassed. And if you go before the UN, there's countries all over the world will sit there and listen to your story and hear you out. And the family of Alton Sterling should go to the UN right there in New York and go ask them to speak about the police killings that's happening to black people here in the United States of America. The thing is, as black people, we always state that we're not surprised by any of this because we have been conditioned to accept murder of black people, especially black men. We've been conditioned to accept that because in this society, it teaches black life doesn't mean anything. It teaches that white is superior and black is inferior in all aspects. This is what this society teach. Now, black people have the power within them to change that, but they choose not to due to fear of those who are against you. And the reason why you don't see a change is because when you have more fear of the white supremacists more than a fear of your God, that's what the problem lies at. And that's why you don't do anything. You hear a lot of black people talking about, oh, I'm going to pray and God going to deal with it. God is waiting on you to deal with it. You ever heard that statement that if you take one step, God will take two? He waiting on you. God is never going to be the one to do everything for you. I don't know where y'all get that from. It's just like say, oh, I'm praying to God for a job. Well, if you don't go fill out the application, you're going to fill out the resume and try to have the qualifications, then how could God help you? You got to give God something to work with, right? So when it comes to your liberation, it comes to your freedom, you got to give God something to work with. Because a lot of you waiting on God, but God is sitting there saying, I'm waiting on you. What's your move going to be? You got to fight for your own liberation and freedom. Now, many of them in the society tell you, you guys need to be like Dr. King. You guys need to do it like him. And they are right. Let me tell you why they are right. Because Dr. King knew how to get at them in a capitalistic society. Dr. King knew that you take the money, you keep your money in your pocket, you do strategic boycotts, and that's how you break them. That's how you do it. You are spending so much money in this society. $1.2 trillion a year. You mean to tell me if you take a lot of that from them, that's not going to hurt this economy? Come on. But the problem with this generation, you walk around and say, we ain't our grandmothers, we ain't our grandfathers, we ain't going to take this, we ain't going to take that. Maybe you need to start being like your grandmothers and grandfathers, because you know what? Your grandmothers and grandfathers sacrificed. Now, sure, I don't agree with the turn the other cheek and the forgiveness they was doing and pleading with them to do something they don't want to do, but they knew how to boycott. Look at that Montgomery bus boycott with Dr. King, with Rosa Parks, when they took her off that bus and jailed her, and black people got on code together and said, we ain't stepping foot on that bus. You ain't gonna disrespect us like that. And black people didn't spend a dime on those buses for over a year until a law was changed. A law. You say you're not like your grandmothers, you're right. And your grandfathers, you're right. Because we ask you, don't watch the NFL, because look at how they treating those black men. They treat them like plantation slaves, and you can't even do that, and that's for free. The thing is, you can't have liberation without sacrifice. I don't know where you get that from, but you don't want to sacrifice anything. You don't want to be without anything. We ain't asking you to go without breathing. We ain't asking you to go without food. We're asking you to be uncomfortable on a few things for the sake of your liberation. What about our children? You see what our children go through every single day in this country, in schools. Our children don't get a break. Our men don't get a break. Our women don't get a break. What is it going to take for you to say, you know what, I'm going to do something? That marching you're doing in the street, it doesn't matter if you're not going to follow it with concrete action. What's the point? I'm over you in the street, riding with signs. What that's going to do? It's not doing anything. You can't keep doing the same things and expecting different results, because that is insane as hell. I'm going to tell you what you need to do, because a lot of people say, well, what's the solution? What's the plan? Because, you got to tell everybody everything, unfortunately. I think it's common sense what we should do. People in Baton Rouge, I will give you a plan if you're willing to follow this plan. I know this going to seem like it's the hardest thing ever, what I'm about to tell you, okay? In order to get respect in the city of Baton Rouge, in order to let the police department know that you mean business, you did your protesting already. Fine. You did that. Now, take it the next step further. Say we will not spend a dime as black people in the city of Baton Rouge until those two cops are gone. We do not feel safe in this city with them running around because they're murderers. They lynching black people. And this is what you do. You're going to have to take a sacrifice and say, we will not go to a restaurant in the city of Baton Rouge. We won't go see a movie in the city of Baton Rouge. We won't buy a drop of gas in the city of Baton Rouge. We'll go do our jobs or whatever, but we're not going to spend any money in the city of Baton Rouge unless, a stipulation, unless we're spending it with a black-owned business. And if it's not a black-owned business in that city, we're not spending it. We will go over to the next city and we will buy gas over there. We'll buy food. And matter of fact, we don't want to be in nobody's restaurant. Let's take this time, go buy our food in the next city, Come back home. Let's have just mass barbecues and cookouts. Get the community together and let's talk about different strategies, what we can do, because we are under siege and under attack. I promise you, if you would not spend your money in the city of Baton Rouge and they kept seeing that you were leaving and going to get gas in the next city and going to the grocery store in the next city and doing everything in the next city, not giving them any black dollars. And if you did that for 6 months, you did that for a year, trust me, things will change. You're not going to get these people's attention by you going in the street talking about Black Lives Matter, give us justice, no peace. You ain't doing nothing with that. They don't care with that. They don't care. They're laughing in your faces. And at this point, you're making yourself look stupid getting in the street if you're not going to follow it by concrete action. You're not doing anything. It's going to take some sacrifice from you. It's going to take some inconvenience from you. But you know what? Why is it you do not want to be inconvenienced, or you don't want to be uncomfortable? This is your life you're talking about. It could be your brother's life next. It could be your cousin's life. It could be your father's life. It could be your boyfriend. It could be your husband. It could be your wife or whoever it may be, somebody black that same police department could kill. You have to take that stuff seriously. You have to understand your only power that you have in the United States of America is your spending power, and that's all they care about with you is what money they get out of you. Stop acting like you got to go to these people places of business. If you get all on code and say we're not going to spend a dime in this city, they're going to do what we say to do, or they're not going to ever get a black dollar ever again. Watch how them politicians start moving and city council start moving. Watch how those cops get let go because they say, wait a minute, we need those black people money in this city. We can't run this city without black people's dollars. And if you're not going to do that, what's the point? Just go home and get mad about it and go back to watching Love and Hip Hop. That's really what it is. Either put up or shut up. Either strong economic boycotts where they feel it, and I ain't talking about 2 weeks. I'm not talking about 30 days. I'm talking about let them feel it for real. Until you see what you want done with those 2 cops, then you can revisit if we're going to start spending money or not. If you're not willing to do that, just stay at home. Because they already see your game already. Trust me, they see it. They just get annoyed with you at this point. They know you're not going to do nothing. They know you're not going to take the extra steps. They know that you're not going to get on code. They know this. Why don't you change the game up? Y'all been protesting for the past 8 years when police were just killing folks wholesale in the black community. And nothing has changed because you're not willing to take it a step further. Now, the few times that you took a step further, you say, we're not going to shop during the holiday season. We're not going to shop Black Friday. And yes, you made dents. You caused them to lose $1 billion or more. Okay. But you did. That's only a short period. See, the thing is, you do it for a short period, but you don't want to do it a long time like your brothers and sisters did during the civil rights movement to get laws changed. Know the power of your dollar in a capitalistic society. The God of America is the dollar. That's what they like. That's what they want. That's what they fight for. So use that to your advantage. We can't have it more simple than that. And if you're not willing to take the sacrifice of inconvenience, if you're not really to say, you know what, let's stop eating at these restaurants. Let's cook at home like we used to as black people. Let's all our family get together. Let's break out the barbecue pit and some charcoal and cook. Had the kids running around, playing outside like you used to. Put some music out. Had the adults, having a good time. Just getting together as family like we used to. Why don't we start doing that with that money? Unifying, talking, seeing how people are. Then that's when we can make some headway. But if you're not willing to do anything at all, then like I said, just don't complain. The next cop kill a black person. If you're not willing to do nothing, then don't complain. Just stop. That's why I've been so slow to talk about some of these killings now, because I'm tired of seeing the same response. I'm tired of seeing y'all on the street and then it goes back and y'all not willing to sacrifice nothing. Y'all not. I can't even deal with it emotionally at that point because I'm tired of seeing nothing happen. I'm all for economic boycotts. I tell you guys all the time, don't go to this business because they anti-black. Don't go here because it's anti-black. I'm serious about that. When I put up the video about that pilot flying J, I used to go there at times, but I'm never going there again. I haven't went back because you're not going to treat black people this way or talk about black people and get my dollar. It's not happening. But let me know what you think about this. People in Baton Rouge, are you going to do something about it? Are you going to stop spending money in the city of Baton Rouge, or are you going to make 100 excuses why you can't do it? But at the end of the day, why you making excuses? This is why nobody respects black people.